Gemini Ascendant. Let's get into it. Gemini is mutable air. Mutable and adaptable when it comes to thinking and communication. So, of course, Gemini is the third zodiac sign of the house. Third house, feel me? Mercury. Mercury is the way we think, the way we analyze, the way we communicate, and of course, the way we interact. Now, when this is in your ascendant sign, your ascendant is your personality, is your masana, aka your persona, the mask that you give off to the world, how you express yourself, first stage impressions. So, with this perspective right here, Gemini, they're pretty much, when it comes to their personality, I can speak of this because I'm a Gemini rising. When it comes to the Gemini personality perspectives, for me, they love to boil up a whole lot of information. AKA, they love to be here, there. For me, they like to do a 360 when it comes to information and basically thinking and communication, of course, reading, and of course, picking up experiences. That's cool and all. And also, it's the other side of Jupiter. They got to learn how to basically find a practical stance where they can basically ground these ideas and ground this knowledge and wisdom that they basically knowing and learning, so they can have an inheritance, or they can basically fulfill, and aka put them steroids into the information that they collect. I mean, because it's kind of hard for me. The information that they receive and collect on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of difficult to basically hold these things into pocket, because Gemini is mutable, so everything interests them. So they can be like all over the place mentally. And of course, this could put them in a circumstance situation of having to take on too many projects. And of course, they love multitasking, so that's their prosperity of that perspective. And when we're talking about multitasking too, the things they love to value, they value their home, they value their siblings, they value their parents at times, especially if they got a close connection. They damn sure well value their motherfucking siblings, to the point that they might just take care of their siblings, baby their siblings, nurture their siblings, bathe their ass, cook food, do all kind of shit, because they like to take on a lot of projects and a lot of responsibilities too, knowing that that's their perspective in general. Also, when it comes to these perspectives, Geminis should look more into like working at home, feel me? Because it's to put more rest on their mental state, aka, even though it's okay to basically get out there and basically search for a job into perspective, but when we talk about ascendant in Gemini, we ain't talking about the sun in Gemini. See, it's a difference. Depends on your ascendant. Your ascendant is your personality, and it's basically your unseen vessel, aka your unseen perspectives on how you rise and you ascend, and how you ascend through the houses. And of course, it's good to basically, have a perspective where y'all can basically work at home, and of course, be free, not to allow shit or circumstances or situations to basically boil up and crumble into y'all perspectives to the point y'all get tired, y'all don't really have too much to do or offer. So, like, either they work from home, develop a business at home, or they just may get lucky due to parenting, or like grandmothers and shit may just give them some money and some shit. They just may be gifted with that because they have opportunities, especially if you're a Gemini ascendant, knowing that the ascendant plays the role of the first house, which also represents the Aries constellation. But of course, when it comes to Gemini risings, like they surrounded in circumstances and situations, how they like to get out there in the public, for me, they like to just express themselves, talk, basically put themselves out there, and of course, talk and be a brag. They might brag a lot of shit when it comes to their surroundings and shit. They like to express themselves and be out there and be open. Feel me? They gotta also remember that they ain't the only people, places, and things that's out there. So they gotta also look out for other people that they surrounding themselves with, aka be out there for other people, having emotional compassion for other people, even though they're not emotional, which is kind of very hard. But of course, that's just the criteria that these outlooks play. And also, when it comes to home, family, and nurturing and things that matter, emotions is not really connected here. For me, like the only true substances that they go through is like pretty much always looking to fix things, or looking for things to basically be cultivated or nurtured into their home matters and things that matter. Because the family don't really show too much lovey-dovey and emotional perspective to that, equal into that ingama. So it's kind of hard when they get love, when they supposed to receive love from their family members. They don't really receive that backlash. They just receive rationality, intellect, and things of that matter. So it's always good to have a powerful mind, especially if you're a Gemini rising, especially knowing that that you may not be receiving feelings and emotions from family, but it's good to also use a little bit of emotion aka look towards yourself and basically value yourself at times too. Also, when it comes to Geminis, like they like Gemini ascendants, they're very deep. They're very deep when it comes to their minds and the way they think and shit. They take these ideas and these perspectives, they go very far out with them. Remember, this is also the other side of Jupiter, aka Sagittarius. But we talk about our good old Geminis right there. So yeah, when it comes to expressing themselves, they like to express themselves by basically finding happiness through other people. Feel me? As long as they outgoing, as long as they can basically be into the mix at times, but they can find comfortability and reasonings, they cool with that. But they like to show their expressions by making other people happy, find that balance between other people. And of course, they gotta also know that they gotta also work on themselves too, to make sure they at perfection, and not just working on perfections of making other people happy and shit. For me, because you know that's the mutable of them. For me, they got many ways on how to adapt to things and things of that matter. Also, when it comes to Geminis, when it comes to daily routines, when it comes to their health, they get overwhelmed when it comes to overthinking and shit, and especially if they got a dark mind, dark ideas, dark thoughts. It's gonna like tear them apart at times, put them into a negative emotional state, aka negative baggage, negative circumstances and situations that they shouldn't basically be present on. They gotta learn how to basically be free, clear their mind, meditate, and clear all that bullshit out of their space. This way, y'all mentality, y'all mind, and the way y'all think is at a smooth breeze. And y'all don't have too much shit on your mind, and y'all don't have too much bricks and fucking statues on your mind. Your mind gotta be free. You got a whole lot of shit on your mind. This is where anxiety come into play. This is where health issues can come into play. So, y'all gotta take care of your health. Clear your mind, think positive, and don't think about no negative shit. Now, when it comes to relationships, Gemini is mutable. So, when it comes to relationships, they're gonna find relationships through experiences, outgoing, going out there into the public, far places, far distances, or may just get into a relationship through experiences, through other people, through other circumstances, or basically at school, or somewhere where they can preach and teach, or church, or somewhere far. That's where you're going to find your relationships and how you can connect with people on a day-to-day basis. And when it comes to changes, Gemini ain't got a problem with that. But when it comes to powerful changes and transformational changes, they got to learn how to basically work on themselves more. When it comes to their status, their career, and their responsibilities. Feel me? They don't take care of their responsibilities, they're not going to really move around in life. I mean, so it's very responsible to basically stick to your guns, and whatever you aiming for, make sure it has a grounded basis where you can be practical. And they'll AKA accumulate what you need to accumulate and grow out of that shit. This way you won't be all over the place, all scatterminded and fucked up, because you just pretty much not taking care of your business. So responsibilities is very important in Geminis. I gotta learn how to take care of that shit. Feel me? Gemini ascendants, actually. Like, without taking care of your responsibilities, you got a problem on your hands and shit. And of course, this can basically be a whole lot of wear and tear and shit, because, you know, Geminis are already going through a whole lot of shit in their mind. So when it comes to other shit, other responsibilities, this is just more weight being added. That's why I said before, take care of your health, clear your mind. Because remember, when we're talking about your personality in general, this is how it's being reflected and affected on you on a day-to-day basis through that 23-hour clock. Can't count 24, because after that, that's 12 o'clock. You're going to do the whole process all over again. Now, when it comes to status and career and business, for me, the best place for y'all to look at, shit. I mean, when it comes to experiences and shit like that, damn. When it comes to experiences for Gemini, so their experiences is basically getting into, like, you know, astrology, occult, mysticism, science, technology, and things that matter. Go through these experiences and things that matter, symbolism. These are good things that basically help nurture your mind and basically have you interested into things. But you gotta be consistent. Sometimes y'all can be having so much going on. So when it comes to these experiences and how you express your passion and your fire and your motivation into the unknown, to the unpublic, to the public and shit, it can be very hard, because it's like you got too much going on, and if you're not consistent, and you ain't got a routine where you can basically find a ground basis to explore and basically be out there, it's going to be very hard for you to basically accumulate yourself in groups and connections and shit. So yeah, you got to be consistent on your day-to-day basis in order for things to basically rectify and take a perspectives. Now, when it comes to status and careers, in business and goals, we don't know which career a Gemini is going to take. A Gemini Ascendant is going to take. Because the Gemini Ascendant have too many ideas, have too many curiosities, have too many interests, have too many endeavors. So they can be all over the goddamn place. And it can be very hard for them to basically pick and choose which criteria they want to basically inherit. So yeah, it could be like ups and downs. Let me talking about this perspective. But of course, y'all got to pick something that y'all very much are into when it comes to like music, things that y'all can basically drawings and things that, you know, Gemini's is good with your hands. So with that, technology, also things of that matter, so would be good for Gemini Ascendant. Because I can be all over the place. It'd be very hard for you to basically pick and choose which career you want to go to. So you can be all over the goddamn place. Also, when it comes to Geminis and shit, when it comes to their personality, it can be very difficult to basically keep up with them because, you know, their personality is predicated towards meeting new people, interacting with people. But of course, it's very hard to basically sit down and actually talk to them, which is the other side of Taurus, aka be fixed. Because, you know, Gemini's got a whole lot of shit going on. They got to do this, got to do that, do this, do that. So it's like you don't really have time to talk to people. So you may come across as superficial at times, where you don't really have it all. But that's not even the case. You got all the power, you got all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the ideas. But the way you come off can be very kind of like orphish. But of course, you make sure nobody is missed. You make sure everybody's taken care of. You like to find balance from that perspective. Feel me? And when it comes to, you know, they dreams and shit, with Gemini, for me, Gemini, they dreams is predicated towards the materialistic realms, things that they can basically find ground basis on. Like, you know, materialistic things is also the other side of looking at Taurus. It can also get deeply rooted, stubborn at times, can get a little lazy at times. Feel me? But of course, that's just a Gemini for you. Yeah, you know, Gemini Ascendant, they're very good people though. Feel me? They can switch up their moods though. One way they talking to you one way, talking to you the next way. They got different flows, come at you differently. Also, they also like pre-assuming things. Circumstances and situations may not play out in that reasoning, so don't always pre-assume something. Just go with the flow and experience. You never know what experience can bring you. It can bring you some pocket money. But never ever put yourself in that position. Also, you know, they're two-faced too, aka they got different personalities. And of course, they talk to themselves every day mentally. So these good, they already mastered the art of perfection when it comes to communication and interaction. So that's really not an issue for them. They got that shit down pat. But of course, when it comes to down packing, aka make sure them ideas is constructed, you got something to work on. But of course, a Gemini Ascendant, you gotta love them. They're very curious, generous, and of course, loving and caring too. Especially if it's depending on degrees too. Now for degrees, now this ain't just predicated towards one Gemini in general. You got trillions of Gemini Ascendants, with different degrees, different archetypes, and of course, this ain't pretty much the whole chart. This is just basically one perspective on how we basically breaking this shit down. It's just more perspectives on how you're gonna have the outlook and the outcome being predicated towards you and how you see these things from a Gemini Ascendant. But of course, the Gemini Ascendants, 10 times out of 10, they may unconsciously talk to themselves at times, because of course, this ain't the sun sign, this ain't the actions, you don't see it, this ain't the moon sign, this ain't the reactions and response, but this is the ascendant sign. The ascendant sign, you don't see this shit. You just see it depending on how they basically dress it up to you. But of course, you still can't see the ascendant sign, because the ascendant sign is basically kind of like hidden, and of course, you can't see the shit. You can only basically see how they express it, maybe. But yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, but this is just pretty much the Gemini Ascendant, and of course, we just finishing up the planets and Geminis, and of course I love all my Geminis. You know, we're about to move into Cancer season, which is the other side of Gemini. So yeah, I love y'all.